So back in October last year, I was in California, the Off-Road Expo in the States, and super cool event. If you're ever in Pomona at that time when the Off-Road Expo was, it's usually around October, September, October. Super cool event. Heaps of like trophy trucks and side-by-sides and all that Baja style stuff, and they had heaps of vendors there from the off-road industry. And KC Hilites is a company that I've known of for years and years and years, but they don't really have a distributor here in Australia. I think Race Wheels Australia was doing their stuff a while back. I'm not too sure if they're doing it now, but KC Hilites is like one of the originators of off-road lighting. So if you've ever seen the yellow spotlights back in the day, the smiley face, that's KC Hilites. So they do some really high-end, high-class off-road lighting, and it's like top dollar stuff. But again, you pay for what you get when you're buying lighting. I do want to buy their Pro 6 light bar for the Ranger Raptor to go across the front of the windscreen, along with their M rack that goes on the roof. So it's like a roof rack system, and it combines side lights with the roof mounted light bar as well. But it's all individual round lights, so it's something I'm working towards, but definitely not cheap. It's around 4,800 bucks for that system, so something I can't afford right now. But while I was there, ended up checking out some of their smaller lighting packages and ended up grabbing a couple of their flex lights for around 300 bucks. And also Outback Dynamics has just brought out a bracket for the bonnet of the Raptor. So what's kind of prompted me to kind of get on with getting these fitted, I've had them sitting in the shed for a while, and I'm like, I really need to get these lights fitted up. We've had a few run-ins this morning with a couple of kangaroos, and I'm just like, nah, we've got to get these lights on there so we can kind of see what's going on. A few of you guys might be saying, oh, just put a bull bar on and that'll solve the issues. I'm just waiting on ARB. They've been saying they're going to be bringing out a bar for ages now, and I still haven't seen anything. I just want to get some more lighting going on so we can see on the rural roads and this dirt road and stuff, the kangaroos and the wildlife. So, going to show you guys the lights that I've chosen to hook up, little KC flexes. Morning guys, welcome back. So just gone through the box that the KC Hilites come in, and what else was in there. So you got your wiring harness here. So it's a complete wiring harness. Good old plug and play, I like. Saves a lot of bloody headache if you can buy a set of lights that do come with a wiring harness set up like this. So you've got your waterproof Deutsch connectors just there. And yeah, the whole lot's there ready to go. So I haven't ran anything through the firewall of the Raptor before, so that's going to be interesting. Obviously got our lights that are going to be going onto the bonnet of the truck. God, these things just look so sweet. It's just cool, really cool. So the brackets I'm using to mount the KC Flex lights, these are just like a universal bracket from Outback Dynamics. So you can mount any sort of light. You may not want to use KC Hilites. You may have a different set of little 5-inch LEDs or something you want to use, or a different brand. So these can pretty much be used for anything. I'm going to have to drill the holes out on these brackets to fit the KC Hilites, because the bolt that runs through the bottom of them is a lot bigger than what this hole is. But these are a super cool bracket. They're all slotted and stuff through here. So the way these brackets mount is they actually go just here on the bonnet. So where your hinges are for your bonnet, you've got some bolts that run through the bonnet there and some nuts holding them onto the hinge. So whenever you're doing body work or anything like that to your four-wheel drive, just make sure you try and get those things to line back up perfectly, and you'll kind of tell where it's been painted and where it hasn't been painted. So just check that. Otherwise, if you go to close your bonnet, you may find that it's slightly off and not hitting the latch correctly. So just try not to move things too much when you're ever adjusting body panels or anything like that. So we're gonna go ahead now and I'll get these two nuts here cracked, and these are slotted so I can slide these brackets in, tighten them back up, and yeah, should be good to go. So it actually goes between the bonnet and the hinge itself, so it slides in between there like that, locates and slides up. I've slid the bracket in behind there. Before I tighten it up, I'm just going to put a little bit of thread locker on the nuts, just a little dab, not too much, just to make sure those bonnet bolts don't come undone. From factory they usually won't come undone because of the paint, but now that I've cracked all the paint, there could be a possibility in the future. But and just make sure when you tighten them up that your clearance behind the back of the bracket and your bonnet is correct behind here where my fingers are. So we're going to have the bracket sit pretty much flush at the front here. That's given me enough clearance, possibly giving me around 4 millimeters at the back there, clearance for vibration and stuff like that, so it doesn't contact the bonnet. So we'll just go ahead now and do these nuts up. Okay, so we have both brackets now installed, Loctited. So I'm about to start putting the wiring through the firewall. Just want to show you guys this awesome top creeper that I've got here in the shed. So I use it for the F250 and also sometimes on the Raptor. It's fully adjustable. You can move it up or down to get over the inside of the engine bay. Super handy. It's got this little pocket just here to put your tools in, but it just allows you just to walk up and then lay over that pad to get into your engine bay. Super cool. I don't actually know where to get them. I bought mine from a guy probably about 3 years ago off Facebook, but I'm sure eBay or somewhere like that would probably sell them, or an automotive store. But yeah, super handy, especially for the F250 because it's so high. But yeah, another cool little shed item for you. Right, so I got a little bit of a workshop hack here for you. So basically, when you're running wiring through the firewall, it can be a real pain in the ass. It's something that's not easy to do. So basically, I get a piece of wire like this, nice stiff piece of wire. I try to condense down whatever I'm trying to run through the firewall as best I can, and then instead of having like one big bulky round item trying to go through there, try and streamline it. So, and then put some whether it's electrical tape or whatever you've got, duct tape, anything in the workshop, wrap that around there so that way it's a smooth transition all the way through the rubber grommet, so that way nothing gets hung up. And I tend to run this piece of wire in and around the back side of the wires that I've already duct taped, then duct tape the wire to that, and then I'll just use a simple little bit of spray just to spray on there, just to help it slide through the hole. So just like that. Now I'll feed that down through the big rubber grommet where all the other electrical wires run, and it should slide through that no problem at all. So little workshop hack. Rightio, so I've got the lights now mounted. They're looking pretty good there now. Had to shorten the bolts slightly here on the bottom to clear the bonnet, but all mounted up nice and tight. I've kind of got them on a rough angle, but we'll adjust them tonight when we go. We're going to go for a drive tonight, and I'm going to show you the difference between last night and tonight with the new lights on. So then we'll take a spanner and we'll adjust them to where we want them to be on the shoulders of the road. So they're tight for now. I've got them just kicked out. Running the wiring through the engine bay just now, trying to get it all nice and neat and tidy. Get the Deutsch connectors all zip tied up nice and neat, and kind of get that all hidden. Then we'll move into the cab and I'll pull that panel that we had mounted for the compressor, where it's got the 3 or 4 switches in that panel to mount accessories in the Ranger Raptor. So we'll pull that out, have a look at that, and I've got another switch in there that's a compressor Pacific switch, because we were running it off just the standard light force switch. So we're going to swap them over now. So one's got lights, one's got the compressor. Get all that dialed in, and then yeah, so Righto, so we're now in the Raptor. I started getting a bit excited and pulling things apart, so I thought I'd better grab the camera and show you guys what's going on. So these panels here are on the side of the Raptor, down each side of the panel here. So basically they pull out and towards you, as you can see the clips there. It's always handy to know what way they come out, so they come directly out and up. So that's those for both sides. And then you've got two 7mm bolts on the bottom here. If you check out Round the Fire YouTube channel, Damo has an awesome video of fitting one of these light force fascia panels. So it's basically got a USB, it's got a 12 volt on this side, and then you've got 3 switches here. We've just got the Kangaroo, that's been running the compressor, but we're going to swap that out for this one here, which has actually got a picture of a compressor on it. So this one wasn't available when we fitted the ARB compressor, so we're going to put the compressor on one side, and then we're going to have the lights hooked up to the Light Force one for the KC highlights. So go ahead now and take these two 7mm bolts out, and we'll get this apart and clip this other light in, run the wiring up, and yeah, carry on. So just taking a look at the catalogue that I got with the flex lights. As you can see, the wide range of different styles of lights for different vehicles. That's the Gravity Pro 6 there at the top that I want to get for the Ranger Raptor. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you like this video, subscribe, go back and watch all the other Ranger Raptor videos, share the videos so we can yeah, get some money together to get that fitted up to the Raptor. I think that's going to look sweet if we can get that on there. You got the KC Flex LED singles there. You got the duals as well, the quads, and then there's those light bars that I was talking about, full length of these KC LED or the Flex singles. Also got round ones, cubes, the old school KC lights. Some of you guys may have seen them in the past. And then on the back we've got a bunch of brackets, and they do so much cool stuff, guys. So if you definitely want a set of lights, make sure you get on and check out the website. There'll be a link in the description. So I've got the lights adjusted to where I think they should be. We're going to go for a drive tonight, and I'm going to adjust them to get them in the right point. So, but now I think they look really cool. I'll show you more again this afternoon, and we'll check them out and see how much they improve that black spot where the Kangaroos would normally come off the shoulder of the road. So you can really see how much of a wider field of view having those two little side lights is giving you along the edges of the road as I drove past then. So I've got both side lights on now, as you can see the Kangaroo sign off there to the left, and then on the right hand side you can see the fence. So as you're driving along, the beam's going to shoot along the edge of the fence there, and we're going to quite easily be able to pick up any sort of kangaroos or other wildlife that's going to be along the side of the roads as we're driving along. So I'll turn the lights on and off to give you a perspective on the light that it's now shooting across to the side and how much isn't coming from the main headlights of the Raptor. So as you can see, the headlights just don't shine enough light off to the side of the road to try and avoid things like kangaroos, cattle, any sort of animals like that, any wildlife that may be out there. Having those side lights, I'll just turn them back on again. Once we can get the money for the Pro 6 with the MRAC to go on the roof, but that'll fix the black spot over in this section here, and also right down there it'll shoot further down the edge, and then we could even turn these side lights out further if we need to get more light. But yeah, so for now we've just got the side lights just boosting visibility on rural roads and things like that, so it's definitely going to help avoid hitting these animals. So I think they look really good. I like them. I like how the brackets mount and how those lights sit there. You can put any sort of light you want on there. Set of Steedies, set of Light Force lights. Any brand will go on there pretty much. I've just drilled the holes out on top of the brackets to take the bigger size bolts that KC use, so no issues there at all. But I think it's just really good just to shoot some light out there on these rural roads, on the dirt roads and stuff, just to get a heads up. The kangaroos and there's bloody deer and cattle and horses and just any sort of wildlife, so it's just a good thing to do. You could also mount these on your bull bar. You don't have to mount lights up here on the bonnet if you don't want to. You could also mount some lights on your bull bar that shoot out to the sides, have them on a separate switch, so if you're on a back road by yourself, just hit them on, so that way you get a nice wide spread. That Pro 6 with the MRAC is close to $4,800 Australian. I think that's delivered as well, but it's certainly not cheap, and it's money that I don't have sitting around right now. I'd love to put one on the Raptor, but I just can't afford it. So you guys might be thinking, oh, it's a massive waste of money, that sort of money on a light bar. Yeah, it is, but you got to remember, you pay for what you get. The amount of Chinese kind of stuff I've bought over the friggin' 15 years I've been buying lights and all the rest of it, you pay for what you get. And something like a KC rack like that, you would have that thing for life. You would move that from vehicle to vehicle. You could take it off the Raptor or take it off your vehicle and move it to your next vehicle. Same as Rigid, like Rigid Industries, like their light bars are up like the $2,000, $2,500 for one that size. KC also do standard light bars. I just like the old school look of the round lights across the windscreen. So anyway, something we're working towards. So yeah, KC highlights. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. See you.